How can we as diabetics lose weight fast, but just as importantly, keep that weight off? How do the different diets like the keto, the paleo, high fiber, even the low calorie version fare against one another? According to the latest studies, there actually is an optimal solution. One that not only changes body composition, that is, the ability to lose fat and gain muscle, but simultaneously also improves health markers like reducing your A1C and blood pressure. Today, you will be exposed to everything there is to know about dieting, the common mistakes, the pitfalls, and the simple solution everyone has been missing. You get to experience the joy of getting this right for the very first time. Welcome to the Resilient Diabetic. This is the channel we turn ordinary, struggling diabetics into extraordinary, well-controlled diabetics. If you are brand new to this channel, I welcome you. My name is Sampat. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that gray notification bell. That way, you will be alerted when new life-changing episodes have been published. And if you learned something new today, please smash that like button for me. As with all of my videos, this should not be considered personal medical advice. This is my interpretation of the latest research. If you want medical advice, please always consult your physician. Approximately 45 million Americans go on a diet each and every year. We've all done it. We want to know, how do we lose that weight and fast? Even those special occasions like weddings, a vacation, a pending doctor's appointment, or even that high school reunion can kick us into high gear. Those of us with diabetes, on the other hand, we have additional pressures. Our weight and health go hand in hand. So we have a secondary, more important reason. The first problem we face are all the different mixed messages we receive from the internet, the forums, magazines, newspapers, friends, our family members, and yes, even our healthcare professionals. Very few subjects have accumulated so much misleading and potentially dangerous folklore as in the area of fat and weight loss. One common message: losing weight is just a matter of willpower. If you've been losing weight and have reached a plateau, then it's because you've lost the willpower and are no longer following your diet. Furthermore, we've all been told weight loss is the answer to improving glucose control. If you just lose that 20 pounds, insulin or medications may not be needed anymore. You will shortly understand why this statement in particular is the death knell for your health. While dieting, that is cutting calories and eating cleaner foods, will produce initial results, studies show that most diets, regardless of which one, leads to weight loss, lower blood pressure, a better A1C, but the desired effects largely disappear within 1 year. This great study was based on the results of 121 random trials with nearly 22,000 patients. The average age was 49, and each person followed a popular name diet like the Paleo, the Keto, Mediterranean, or an alternative diet that counted macros. All reported weight loss and changes in cardiovascular risk factors. Typically, when someone starts a diet, they see weight loss right away, especially if they're motivated and stick to that diet. But eventually, the body loses weight. The metabolism slows down, and often people forget to adjust for other behaviors. Then, right around the 12-month mark, the effects on weight reduction and improvements in cardiovascular risk factors largely disappear. Every time you embark on a new diet, you end up damaging the body and make things worse. In most cases, and here is the key, you would have been better off if you would have not have dieted at all. A term you must get to know first is called yo-yo dieting. I know you've heard this before, but it's time you really understood how the body responds to dieting. Yo-yo dieting is a pattern of eating where one restricts their diet to eat less and lose weight, stops the diet once they've lost the weight, then eventually regains all the weight plus more. Then they get more ill-advised information, starts another new period of restrictive eating to lose more weight, and once more again gain even more weight than before. What is going on? In this recent study, researchers looked at 60 men and 147 women with an average age of 52. They were characterized into 3 groups: non-weight cyclers, mild weight cyclers, and severe weight cyclers. A weight cycle was defined as a voluntary loss, meaning it was done on purpose, of more than 6.6 pounds, followed by the eventual weight gain of the same amount within the same year. The beauty of the study was that they looked at muscle loss rather than BMI. BMI, as a measure, in my opinion, is a pretty much useless marker. This means the researchers looked beyond the scale weight and BMI and instead measured muscle strength through hand grip exercises as well as bone mineral density, the percentage of lean muscle tissue, and fat mass. They found those in the severe weight cycle group had nearly 4 times the increased risk of low muscle mass compared to the non-weight cycle group. And they had 6 times more risk when considering hand grip strength. And why would you consider hand grip strength so important? This is the marker that will determine how independent you will be from living assistance later on in life. Simple tasks like opening a door, brushing your hair, making dinner will become harder and harder each time you aggressively diet, especially as you get older. And now for the devastating news. If the participants had stayed at the same weight and have not dieted, even if they were overweight or obese, they would have lost less muscle mass and strength over time. This shows it would have been better to not have done anything to begin with. Even that small, quick weight loss diet for that wedding can be devastating for you in the long run. Every attempt to try a new diet only makes things worse. Studies have showed over and over again that when people drastically cut their calorie intake, the body begins to shut down functions to conserve energy and then breaks down muscle mass tissue in an effort to slow metabolism as a self-defense mechanism against what it sees as though it's going through a famine. When people have gone off their crash diets, their metabolisms have slowed down significantly, and much of the weight they have lost was muscle instead of fat. And as you start to eat a normal diet, your sluggish metabolism will put on the majority of weight back as fat. That original muscle, it's lost. It's gone with the wind. And the worst part for us diabetics, that muscle tissue is what is responsible for soaking up all that glucose or sugars after a meal. The less muscle you have, the harder it will be to control your blood sugars. As you can see, weight cycling has a negative ripple effect when it comes to your strength and muscle mass. But what you have not taken into account is how the wrong diet has also very negative impacts on health in other ways. It particularly affects your heart, your hormonal levels, and most importantly for us diabetics, insulin sensitivity. There's a lot of advice out there, from the keto to the paleo, and now the big buzz, intermittent fasting. Some people feel great when they do these things, and others, they feel lousy. It is challenging to consume a significant calorie deficit while maintaining lean body mass, regardless of the macronutrient distribution. So now we get to the good stuff. Let's look at this study where they compared the most popular diets to determine which ones actually had the least impact on muscle loss. They included the very low calorie diet, the low carb ketogenic diet, which strictly limits carbohydrates and focuses in on fats, the low fat group, which focuses on carbohydrates, the high protein diet, which limits carbohydrates and focuses in on protein, and a high fiber diet, which focuses in on high fiber carbohydrates. The blue box shows how much fat was lost. The gray box, the amounts of lean tissue loss. And what do you notice? They all come out relatively the same, with the exception of one diet. The participants in the high protein diet protected the most amount of muscle and lost the most amounts of fat, while the high fiber diet produced the worst results. They lost the least amount of fat and lost the most amount of muscle than any other diet. And this is the one most healthcare professionals will push on their patients, ultimately setting them up for failure. What is the holy grail of body composition changes? Can one actually lose fat and gain muscle all at the same time? Researchers at McMaster University have uncovered significant new evidence in the quest for that elusive goal of gaining muscle and losing fat. For the study, 40 young men went under a month of hard, intensive exercise while cutting dietary energy intake by 40%. It was a tough, grueling affair for the participants as they were in rough shape. But that was part of the plan. They wanted to see how quickly they could get them into shape. Could they lose some fat, but still retain the muscle and improve their strength and fitness? The researchers divided them into two groups. Both groups went on a low-calorie diet. One was given a much higher levels of protein than the other. The high-protein group, they experienced muscle gains. Yes, that's right, around 2.5 pounds, despite consuming insufficient energy, while the low protein group did not add any muscle. The researchers concluded exercise, particularly weightlifting, provided the signal for muscle to be retained even when you're in a calorie deficit, provided you consume enough protein. Now, this is where things get juicy. The researchers were also intrigued because the high protein group also lost more body fat. The results showed the high protein group lost around 10.5 pounds of fat and the low protein group around 8 pounds. All of the participants, by virtue of the demanding 6 days a week exercise routine, they got stronger, they got fitter, and generally were in better shape. So now that we know what we know, what are the rules you must go by in order to be successful? First and foremost, do not diet for the sake of dieting. You can clearly see how detrimental this will be for your body. Second, you have to get this right from day one. You want body composition changes, not just weight loss. So then, what is the single most important nutrient you will need to focus in on? Protein, and enough protein with every single meal. When you do consume protein, and the right amount, you will feel satiated. Hunger disappears. So you get to eat more, not less, in order for this to work. Protein is that single most important macronutrient for optimal fat loss and muscle gains. If you're not getting enough, especially in a calorie deficit condition, the body has no other choice but to strip away at all that muscle tissue and recycle those proteins for other vital purposes. Thus, your metabolism shuts down, you burn less calories at rest, and you have less muscle to soak up all that glucose after a meal. The end result? You continue to gain weight and your blood sugars will rise over time. Fourth, weight training is critical. If you've been following me and you are subscribed, and I know you are, then I've showed you it's never too late to learn how to lift weights. Once you do, it's a game changer. If time is limited, always prioritize weight training over cardio. It is that critical. Listen to me carefully here. Weight training is far superior in every way to cardio at not only retaining muscle, but it is the only way to build back all of that lost muscle tissue that has occurred over the years of doing this wrong. Let me ask you this question. Which two business models have you seen explode in the last decade? You see them on every single street corner now, and they both cater to the extremes of one's health. The first one is due to the explosion of diabetes. More than 1 in 3 here in the United States is pre-diabetic, and it's only going to get worse. And what would all those pre-diabetics need over time? A kidney dialysis center. And the second model that has exploded are the private personal gyms you also see everywhere. And mind you, depending on where you live, this is pre-COVID times. And why the gym explosions? Because once you start training with weights, regardless of your background, you will love it. It is purely addictive. And this is where the magic comes from. Once you've dialed in on your protein intake and are lifting weights, the skies open up and the angels begin to sing. Many of you resilient diabetics have found this out once you've taken that leap of faith. In the episode, Why is it so hard for diabetics to lose weight? I discussed the nefarious entity behind the scenes that purposely keeps you in the dark and makes it close to impossible for you to obtain optimal health. You can clearly see now that choosing the wrong diet or wanting to lose weight fast will destroy you. So I bet you want to learn more. Like, how much protein will you need? What is the single most important tool you will need as a diabetic if you want to lose weight the right way? I will set up a playlist for you with more episodes on this very important subject. If you're on your desktop or laptop, I want you to use your mouse to click this upcoming box. If you're on your mobile device, just tap that with your fingers. The first is the link to subscribe to this all-important channel. The second is the link to that playlist on proteins. So have a great and productive day, and we will see you soon with another new episode, which are generally released weekly. Bye for now.